everybody, it is your friendly neighborhood law gnome and welcome back to another Funko Pop update. Well, here we are guys, it is now officially July and that means we are officially starting the second half of the year. And how do I feel at this point in time in regards to Funko as a company and regarding to the products that they offer? Well, I will definitely say that Funko really needs to start figuring out what they're going to be moving forward. They had a lot of shakeups, they've been trying to do a lot of things in different ways, and I probably will say that their most lacking area is their social media. And that's just because of the fact that there are so many other outlets in which leaks of their products that are out there and things that are coming are being shown much faster than Funko actually features them on their own social media pages. I know that they downsize, I know that they unfortunately have to say goodbye to a lot of their workers, but if you really want to get yourself out there, especially considering what you were a couple years ago, it's not so long ago, it's like 4 or 5 years ago, you've really got to try and start figuring out what worked in the past and how you can improve on yourselves. And at the same time, they are still managing to give us some very interesting Funko Pops, and I don't really know what's going on with the rest of their products. I mean, Funko sodas are now few and far between. I'm not really interested in the Project Fred and some of the other new things that they're offering, but every now and again, they will reach out and let us know that there's a new Funko Pop coming out, and I'm just saying to myself, wow, I never would have anticipated this, or wow, this is something that I wish I could have had such a long time ago, and I'm so glad that it's coming out now. I would probably say that two of the biggest surprise that I personally saw was the pop ride of the classic video game, the Oregon Trail with the oxen and the cart, and another big surprise that they offered was the announcement of 2 Funko Pops from the Disney classic film, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and that's Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman looks absolutely gorgeous, and I had a feeling somewhere down the line there were going to be some Funko Pops from Disney films that they hadn't made. Like, I personally am still waiting for a Fox and the Hound double pack. I know that they've done a few 101 Dalmatians, I mean, way too many Cruella de Vil's, but I would love to see some of the puppies featured, Horace and Jasper, and for me personally, I want Sergeant Tips. He's my favorite character from that movie, and of course, knowing that we did receive a Funko Pop of Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet, I would still love to see a Silver Pop and a regular Treasure Planet Pop line, maybe even Atlantis the Lost Empire line, but those are just my own personal thoughts. However, I am still collecting. There are still so many that I have on pre-order due to a couple of things that I just didn't see coming. And then, of course, there's the big question, because we are now in July, that means San Diego Comic-Con is happening, and all of the reveals came out. There definitely were some things to be impressed by, but I think this may be the second year in a row, possibly even the third, I would have to backtrack, in which I am not purchasing any San Diego Comic-Con Funko Pops. I think the last time I purchased one was during the pandemic, and it was the Wallace West from Scott Pilgrim. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's always great to collect, but it's also really good to say, hey, you know something? Let everybody else have what they want. I'm just going to walk away. But I will definitely say that the things that really surprised me were the Snoopy in his scout uniform surrounded by the Woodstock cousins, as well as the brand new Marvin the Martian, which I thought looked wonderful, but it's a Toy Tokyo exclusive. If it wasn't a Toy Tokyo exclusive, I probably would have grabbed it. And I also really did appreciate this very interesting Batman-Superman fusion Funko Pop, which comes from the Mark Waid, Dan Mora comic that I am currently reading and loving, and that, of course, is Batman-Superman World's Finest. But other than that, I'm still very satisfied with this company and the products that they're offering, and it has been a very, very long time since they did actually start giving me things that I truly was excited about. But again, there are some things that I am truly upset about, and those, of course, are the NFTs, because they just announced a Disney Afternoon villain set, and one of the characters from the Disney afternoon, specifically from Tailspin, Don Carnage, is becoming a Funko Pop, and I am so angry that it's an NFT. And then I saw that they were going to be giving us a Daria NFT line, and one of the characters that was being offered is Britney. As much as it would be awesome to have a Britney Pop, I'm going to let that pass and still wait on hands and bated breath for a possible Fashion Club 4-pack, which I would love to add to my collection. But that's all the stuff that I have to say in regards to the news. I hope that you're looking forward to San Diego Comic-Con. So let's take a look at how my collection's been going. So when it comes to my collection, as well as some of the Funko lines, the one that I don't really talk about frequently is anything revolving around sports. And that's probably because of the fact that they don't really release many sports figures for us New Yorkers. I mean, they'll give you so many versions of LeBron James, and I'm frankly sick of that. But I think when it comes to the most diversity in regards to the amount of different players that they offer, it's usually the football line and sometimes to an extent the baseball line. I mean, I have so many Jets already and so many Mets already, and quite frankly, I'm very excited because I have another Jet Funko Pop on pre-order, and I can't wait to feature it here for you guys. But I was absolutely thrilled to know that they were finally giving me some New York Knicks Pops. I only had one New York Knick in my collection. It was the original Series 3 of Kristaps Porzingis. I did not collect Funko Pops when they announced the Amari Stoudemire, Jeremy Lin, as well as the Carmelo Anthony. So I unfortunately missed out on those three. So I had to pick it up wherever I could. So the fact that we got some brand new Knicks Pops made me very excited. And not just that, it was the fact that I got a current player, and I also got some players that were around during my time being young and watching Knicks games in the 90s, which as far as I'm concerned is the greatest time for basketball. So let's not waste any more time. So we got one of the major players in the current New York Knicks lineup, and that of course is Jalen Brunson, a man who truly plays his heart out. But this is also the very first time that I ever actually invested in one of the magazine covers lines. I never thought that I would get a Slam cover because I never thought that they would give me a New York Knick, but the fact that they gave me Jalen Brunson, this is the only time that they're going to feature Jalen Brunson, I had to capitalize. Though, if they make an individual box version, I will get that. If they make a Josh Hart or any of the other current Knicks, I will totally grab them, because I would love to get the New York Villanova Wildcats lineup. I really would. But this is an awesome pop. I mean, the magazine cover, I think, is more for this than the pop itself, and why not? So the fact that we get a great picture of Jalen Brunson, who had such a great season last year, you know, we get a very detailed pop. I love that they got the dreads in his hair very good. I mean, I wish that they didn't cross his arms so we could see the New York uniform, but, you know, he's basically just doing what he's doing in the magazine cover, which is absolutely fine. I never even owned myself a copy of Slam magazine, but it is still really cool, especially when you turn around the box, you know, just to get that beautiful New York Knicks logo shining high in my collection makes me very excited, and I am so glad to have finally gotten a New York Knick for my collection. But then they announced something big. And that was something that actually happened before this specific two-piece set was announced. They were announcing some NBA Jam 2-packs. Now, NBA Jam is a video game that I played when I was a kid. I played it in the arcades. I played it at home on my Sega Genesis. I played it a few times on the Wii. And it's such a fun game. It's a classic basketball game. And the fact that they were announcing a couple of 2-packs from the game made me really excited. I mean, I remember when the Supersonics 2-pack came out, and it was Sean Kemp and Gary Payton, and then they announced the Utah Jazz one, which was Karl Malone and John Stockton, and I just said, oh man, what would happen if they made a New York Knicks? And then they made the second wave, and the Knicks were in fact one of them, and I'm so glad it is Patrick Ewing and John Starks, two of the New York Knicks that I watched religiously in the 1990s, and I'm just so glad to finally have these two guys. Even though they're in a video game format, I'll take it. I mean, I love it. Let's look at the Patrick Ewing. I just love the fact that they got the 8-bit squares, not entirely encasing them, but all over the pop, and you got more detail than you did in the game, of course. So you got the New York legendary 33, which is now up in the rafters at Madison Square Garden, as well as Ewing 33 on the back, and of course he is rising high with the on-fire ball, ready to make that slam dunk. And then let's check out John Starks, and I love the fact that he is already shifting into turbo mode. He's got the bright red shoes and the flames behind him before he's going in for that dunk. I love the detail and the texture on the basketball, and once again, love the little 8-bit with his mustache as well as Patrick Ewing's, and you got the New York number 3 on the front and on the back with Starks on the back. This is such an excellent 2-pack. I mean, honestly, if they were to make a Charlotte Hornets one and they featured Alonzo Mourning and my favorite basketball player of all time, who eventually would become a Knick, and that is, of course, his grandmama himself, Larry Johnson, I would totally pick that up. Even if it was Alonzo Mourning and Muggsy Bogues, I would still pick that up because I loved that 1990s Hornets team. As a matter of fact, I was rooting for the Hornets before I became a big Knicks fan, but it was definitely a special time for basketball. And once again, to have some more Knicks in my collection, finally, I am thrilled to have them, especially because they are capitalizing on what the Knicks accomplished in this year's season, but as well as giving us a little bit of nostalgia in the form of sports and video games, which is wonderful. I really hope that they make more NBA Jam 2-packs just so other fans can capitalize and gather their favorite teams. I mean, I saw the Houston Rockets 2-pack, which was Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, and I was like, wow, what Rocket fan is not going to want to grab that? That's just fantastic. I love it. But that's it, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this video of my collection today. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments in the box below. Let me know what some of your highlights were in terms of your Funko Pop collecting from this past month, as well as on the other Funko products, and let me find out if there was anything that I forgot to mention. But in the meantime, everybody, if you're going to be purchasing in San Diego Comic-Con, good luck to you, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.